Hi everybody, it's Annette from the Art of Intuition. Today we're going to talk about how to navigate through the high realities or the low realities. So what does it mean when you're in a high reality? And what does it mean when you're in a low reality? And this can be a couple of different things. Sometimes we expand our consciousness really, really high and we start to see glimpses of realities, especially when we start to anchor them in. But sometimes we just get glimpses of them at first. Colors are brighter, everything comes at the perfect time, everyone shows up when they're supposed to. We have a lot of energy. We just feel like we're in flow with everything. And we'll perceive that. And it is true that we are in a higher consciousness reality. We're in a higher state of consciousness. We feel a lot of peace inside. Everything feels right. We're super expanded. We can, basically feel like we can feel the cosmos. We can see and feel everything. And then all of a sudden we don't anymore. And we can have this perception that now I'm back in a human reality. Somebody explained it once as a kind of being kaplumped back into a human body. And all of a sudden it feels heavy, everything feels miserable, you're emotional, nothing's going right, different realities seem off. And people will say, okay, now I've lost that, right? I'm not, how do I get back there again? But we're always going to be ebbing and flowing, because when we expand our consciousness, we eventually will contract back down, and then we have to clear everything in our body that's not aligned with that consciousness. That's how we reach the consciousness with our body. It's how we raise the frequency of our body. So what we might perceive as going backwards, going into a lower dimension, or whatever word you want to put to it, there's really no lower and higher in a sense. In comparison, it's just kind of where our consciousness is. Or you feel kind of shut off, you feel kind of compressed. We have to kind of clear what's in the body. We have to and it also, we're clearing what's in the body. It's also going to highlight things that might not be aligned with that level of consciousness. So we kind of have to look at which one we're doing. Sometimes we'll get complunked back into different realities that kind of don't fit anymore. So we have the opportunity to shift them. We have the opportunity to realign them. Or we might be at a point where we say, you know what? I don't need to. I can just let this one go, and you'll kind of know which one's which. Sometimes we don't have the energy to really align something because it's so out of whack that we know that we can't really do it. Like we're like, this is so out of whack. I can't fix this right now. I can't align this. We're just going to let this one go for a while and I'll get back to it. Trust me, if you have to really deal with it, it'll come back around. But just be aware of what you're noticing. Go ups and downs in a sense, or feeling really high, then not feeling so high, feeling very sort of, the word that's coming to mind is altered, like an altered state of consciousness, a very high state of consciousness, and hitting those highs. And then we feel like our body goes through a lot. We might not feel good physically, emotionally. Everything is just kind of crummy. You feel really human. I know when I have those days, if I have days where I feel really expanded, especially if I've been myself for a long amount of time, and then all of a sudden I'll kind of crash in a sense where I just feel like all this stuff starts coming up. I start looking at different things. I just feel very human, and then I just don't take myself around people for a reason, because I don't want to subject anyone to that mood or that clearing. Really, it's just you're going through a clearing to get back to that state of consciousness with your body. But we're always going to be kind of it's kind of going to flow with how we're going to flow and how we're going to clear. So don't get too bogged down and feel like you're doing something wrong, or now I'm in a lower dimensional reality. Sometimes there's a zillion reasons we might feel that way. Sometimes we're just going through a clearing process. Sometimes we're being shown what's not really aligned for the next phase, so we can then try to shift it. It's going to be a lot of different reasons you're going to feel that way. But it's never to kind of judge what's going on. It's just to notice, okay, I got a lot of stuff going on. Now, some people will choose to kind of go all into it. But if it's a real big one, sometimes I'll choose to just sort of take my mind off of it in a sense and go do something else and not set in it, especially if it's a really miserable feeling, just goes in somewhere else and doing something else. You can kind of choose what works for you. Sometimes one situation you'll be just set in it and clear it, and other times you'll feel like, no, I'm gonna just go out. I don't have to set in it. I can go to the beach and clear this. I can go for a walk and clear this. I don't have to set in the misery of it. I can go do something else. I can go do something for somebody else. So just look at how you feel about what's appropriate for you when you hit sort of these spaces, but don't judge yourself as, oh, now I'm in a lower place. Oh, wait, now I'm in a higher place. We're always going to be in a space. Some days we're going to feel different than other days. Some days things are going to feel like they're all in flow. But if we don't ever get those moments where everything feels in flow, then we don't recognize when things are out of flow. Sometimes we'll get them for comparison. If we don't get the days that nothing flows right, then when we get the days when everything isn't aligned, we understand what it means to be in aligned with everything. When everything's flowing perfectly. And then when the days are not, we can see we're fighting against something. Because we want it to go a different way. We don't like the way it's going. We want it this way, not that way. Really look at our limitations, what we're willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept, what we're willing to do, what we're not willing to do. And that'll give us a hint as to where we are and what we're trying to clear. So good luck and keep practicing the art of intuition.